keeps you laughing with all the jokes.
It's JV.
Who keeps it real around all your folks.
It's JV.
You've been looking and what do you know? Congrats, you tapped into the JeVaughn Show. Who keeps you laughing with all the jokes?
It's JV.
Who keeps it real around all your folks?
It's JV.
No matter the outlook will give you some hope. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the JeVaughn Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new edition of the JeVaughn Show. I am your host with a whole lot of hair. What is going on, Dr. James Wealthy, Mr. Wealthy Systems, my barber who can't get me in until the end of February? Apparently, I'm either going to be wearing do-rags and skull caps and beanies or just shave it all bald. If I should go bald, make sure you put bald in the comments. And if I should wear a beanie, put beanie. If I should grow an afro in the middle of spring, make sure you put that also as well. But that's not what we're here talking about today. We are talking about how to build billion-dollar success, how to have a billion-dollar mindset. The first thing you do is get a haircut. And the second thing you do is have it in your head, in your mind, that this is something that you can do. My guest today said that she is literally, and I was going to say figuratively, but I'm going to say she is literally protesting against small thinking. She is a billion-dollar strategist, and you need her in your life. She's in mine, and thus I am instantly wealthy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage and to the JeVaughn Show, Dr. Sundra Ryce. Dr. Ryce, how are you doing today?
I am happy, JeVaughn.
Ain't nothing wrong with happy. So that means that your team won the Super Bowl.
No, but my team didn't make it. They were close. The Buffalo Bills, actually. I'm going back. I'm digressing.
You're a Buffalo Bills fan?
Yes.
Oh, so you grew up in the 90s and still stayed with them.
Yes. Yes. It's true.
Does being a Bills fan in any way distract people from wanting to take your leadership guidance?
No, because when I show up, they forget about all of that.
Your sports alliance is not what's important. What's important is the fact that you know how to build businesses and that you know how to build a mindset. But the people who are watching the JeVaughn Show, they want to know, wait a minute, you talk about billions of dollars and skyscrapers and all this stuff, but who is the woman that's doing all of this? So if you don't mind, tell the people, who is Dr. Sundra Ryce?
Absolutely. Well, I've been blessed to be in leadership for over 30 years. And that's in corporate, and that's also spiritual leadership, which is a blessing because it's, the two and one. So I'm a performance and purpose strategist and a leadership and culture architect. I am a transition advisor, and I'm an organizational effectiveness consultant. And so what that looks like is there are three pillars to my brand, and that is Dr. Sundra for corporations and organizations, where I go in and deal with their leadership teams and organizational health and wellness and sustainability. That's Dr. Sundra number 2, the second pillar, for religious institutions. And that's where I have a protest against smallness, also a protest against spiritualized performance and dismantling. And I have I make sure, when I go in, I'm dismantling spiritualized performance. That's like riding things till the wheels fall off, et cetera. And not having health in the organization. And then the last part is mentorship and advising and also coaching. And so those are the three pillars of my brand and what I do as I go into leadership in the world and in the marketplace.
If you don't mind me, I'm going to ask a few questions and we're going to bounce around on a couple of different things because you're giving us so much information and you're clearly a wealth of knowledge. But on the JeVaughn Show, we like to really know the person and get into their heart, their mind, their soul. If you don't mind me asking, how do you build a $500 million legacy while everyone is waiting for you to fail?
Oh, that's really good. One of the things is everybody experiences, hardships. Everybody experiences failures, or what they call failures, or, the fears, the barriers to success. whether it's in our thinking or, how we, in our environment, however that shows up. And I've had my fair share. That's another show, JeVaughn. But one of the things that I've had to do is really honestly understand and know who I am. So, it has been a journey, but I have the absolute power and sovereignty to be me, and I'm free to be myself. And that means I operate in the gifts that God has given me, the genius that God has given me. And I share that with the world because I know that I have an assignment and I have a calling in this area of the marketplace. You're on mute.
Professionalism right here. I'll tell you what. Okay, so when you in church on Sunday morning and you're praising and you're worshiping and you're being encouraged that you are a leader and that you need to strive and survive and encourage yourself and things like that. But then Monday comes along. What is the scariest Monday morning you've ever had? Or can you speak to one moment to where when once you leave the church house and you actually have to walk into a building and you're like, okay, wait a minute. What is the scariest Monday morning you've ever had?
That's a great question. The scariest Monday morning I've ever had is probably, it's been some years ago. And I was actually going into I had a large project for the Department of Defense for the government. And I was going in, I'm CEO of the company, and went in, and people, this was a group that I had never sat down with, and we were going over, beginning of the project, logistics. And so when I came in, it's like a Monday morning, I came in and they said to me, "Are you the secretary?" And this is some years ago. And then it made me conscious of who I was as a person, as a woman, as a brown woman, as a young woman, because I say this was about 20 years ago. So, it just made me conscious of, wow, people don't see me the way I see me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And it was scary. It was scary.
When did you first see and identify who Sundra Ryce was? Not Dr. Sundra Ryce, because I'm going to say you weren't a doctor at this moment. But What was the moment when you realized who you truly were?
Well, I was young. So I was 11 years old. And I had this vision, 11 years old, I had this vision. And a lot of people have heard me talk about this, but I was in the vision. I was sitting in an office building, and it was floor to ceiling windows. It was like a banking building, a downtown banking building. I was sitting at a table, and there was a CEO, a man that was standing at the window. And I was sitting there talking to him, and I had a huge Bible under my arm, but he couldn't see it. And at that time, God spoke to me very clearly and said, "You are called to the marketplace. You will be a pastor in the marketplace." And that's when I knew at a very young age that God had called me. Now, I didn't know what all that meant, but I also knew I was a leader because, I was leading everything. I was leading in Sunday school. I was a young Sunday school teacher. When we played school, I have one sister, my older sister. She thinks I act like I'm older than her. But when we would play school and we were young, and everybody from the neighborhood was around, I had to be the teacher. I had to be the leader, in charge. And so I started owning that, at a young age. And I started my company very young. I started my company when I was 21 years old. My first company. So I started, really leaning into that leadership, whether people liked it or not.
And commanded the room, apparently.
Yeah. It's funny that people still and that's why I said I have a protest against smallness, because in this day and age, when I walk into a room now, it could be just depending on the generality of the room, or the largeness of the room, or even the smallness of the room. There is a boardroom. I have to make sure I show up and my presence is there. And that's what I'm responsible for, because I still don't control what other people think. In this day and age and what's happening in our world right now, economically, politically, as a brown woman, I still don't control what people think of me. So I have to have that identity. And that's why I do a lot around purpose and performance in organizations, and in personal mentorship, and organizational mentorship or leadership mentorship, and also in faith-based leading. When I go into faith-based institutions, I do a lot around purpose because it's inextricably tied to identity and who we are. And that's the questions you're asking me. Who are we?
Yeah.
Why are we here? What do we need? And then what do we need to engineer or re-engineer? So that's where I step in.
I know that there's a book called, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But if Dr. Sundra Ryce was to write that book, would there be 7 things? Would there be 3 things? Would there be just one? What is your ideal habit of a highly successful person or influential person?
So I think one of the things is, so I have actually a 4-pillar leadership system that I would say there are 4, because that's the leadership system that I've developed. But and that leadership system does not just deal with leaders or just leaders per se. It's individuals. It's people who have, number 1, leaders or individuals. Number 2, teams. And number 3, organizations, the organization part of it. And then number 4, the empire part of it. That's when you move beyond, sustainability into thriving. And you have systems in place that will far outlive you as an individual or as an organization.
Wow, that's fantastic. How did you develop these pillars?
So one of the key, the time and the space that I had to develop it, and this is something that I'm always re-engineering, was when I was at Pepperdine University. And I actually have a collaboration and partnership with the university where I work with them in creating certificate programs and leadership, and working. And actually, we have one of the top in-person programs in the university at this time. So I'm very blessed with that at the university, and we can talk about that later. But at my time, I actually received my doctorate in organizational leadership from the Graduate School of Education and Psychology. And I, at that time, really utilized, when I was getting my degree, I really utilized, my research, my research-based practices to look at, like you said, that question: what is it that Dr. Sundra or Sundra Ryce will give to the world and to academia? And at the time when I was first building the system and the leadership theory, what was really present was that there's not enough, and this was before COVID happened, believe it or not, but there was not enough. There was not enough presence in the marketplace around leaders and individuals who are experiencing burnout, who were experiencing, insustainability. There, you can hear about doctors or nurses or people who, psychologists, but not in leadership. And so I developed this work based on the premise of who takes care of the leader that takes care of everybody else. And then that goes through the 3 pillars of my brand, whether it's in corporations or religious institutions or individuals in mentorship or coaching. Are you muted again?
Funny. I don't know why. Okay, we'll attack technical issues later. When I hear you talking about taking care of the leader, right? And I'm going to put 3 words on the screen, and I'll read those 3 words. Which one would you say was the heaviest for you personally this week? Isolation, expectation, or exhaustion?
For me, it is, I think 2 of them in a way. Now I'm going to tell you the truth because of my own proclivities. So you want to hear about Dr. Sundra or Sundra?
Yes, I want to hear all about Dr.
Yes, you want to hear all that. So, okay, so this is a true statement. So I say number 1 would be isolation, because I go out into the world and I help people and I love it, love what I do. But I love to come back home to my beautiful home. And then after that, I like to stay there and isolate. I like to, be in my own world, Dr. Sundra world or Sundra world, whatever that looks like, and just enjoy myself, the joy of life, the joie de vivre. I love to just, be with me. I love myself. I'm the president of my own fan club. Joie de vivre, the joy of
Joie
life.
de vivre.
Yes, it's a French word. It means the joy of life. And I love being, I have friends. I have amazing friends. I have amazing support system, amazing, incredible family. But I like to be by myself too. I can go to the beach by myself. I can be in the beach for 2 weeks. I don't need people to entertain me. I can just be in the water, reading, writing.
Being around people all the time, building them
Yeah,
up.
I think so. And I think, when people see me, they were like, she's so extroverted. She's on stage, she's preaching, she's in organizations, she's in the big companies. But I'm also introverted in a way. I have an introverted side. And so I love to honor that. And so I have to, but to that point, JeVaughn, my point is I have to really watch that. Because, when people say, do you want to go out? Do you want to do this? Should we do this? Let's go here. And so instead of saying no, because I'm a little older too now, I'm older. I'm 51.
I'm 27.
No, I'm 51, honey. I'm 51.
It just still doesn't crack. Very well moisturized.
Thank you. Thank you. I try. So, but I really have to, be conscious of making sure I am not isolated. And that is important because, I really do believe we are better together in the world. I really believe in the notion and the principle that all boats rise together. And so it is not, always good for me to be alone, as the Bible says. But I'm saying it in a different way. But you know what I mean? Because I gain from others and others gain from me. Iron sharpens iron. And so in my personal time, when I'm not teaching, when I'm not in organizations, when I'm not leading programs, I have to make sure that, I don't isolate so that I can make sure I am filling my cup. And I am not, being that burned out leader who is, isolated, because that's a part of burnout, that's, being disheveled, or you're what's the word, you're not present, with people, you're not present, you are, you're isolated. So in that respect, I have to make sure I'm not burned out.
Now, isolation, do you also isolate from like politics, news? Do you isolate from the world itself and just kind of have your own little cocoon, or do you still dive into the world?
Well, I have to, because of what I do and the responsibility of what I do. But if I could have it my way, I would. I would be in a cocoon in the south of France. Joie de vivre.
Joie de vivre.
The guys called me on an assignment, so I got to go into organizations. I have responsibility. I have lots of things to do, and so I can't do that.
Do you allow your brain to unwind though? Like, are you a Netflix and chill person? Are you going to the big old kitchen that you have and cooks a seafood boil? Like, what do you do during that isolation time that helps, I guess, keep you energized and refills your cup?
Yes, so I do. I love Netflix. I'm a Netflix person. I could do what do you call it? A binge, like on a Saturday binge. I could do a Saturday binge on Netflix. No, I love great shows.
If I was to guess what you're watching, I'm not going to say Bridgerton.
I've already watched that. That's already done. It's done. I'm just waiting for the next 4 episodes.
Are you like a documentary person then?
Yes.
Or
I love
documentaries. A couple of docs you watched?
Okay, there was one documentary I watched, and let me see the name of it, because it was called, I think you could just Google it. I forgot the guy's name, but How to Be Rich. And this came up, his name is, I don't know what his name is, but on Netflix, if you put that on there, How to Be Rich, it's a great, and I actually bought his, I actually just bought the journal about how to be rich, because it's not talking about money necessarily, but there are, things to help you with money, but it's really talking about like really getting creative around your rich life and what that looks like for you.
Ramit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it talks about your rich life, which I was attracted to because, for me, when I go into, again, organizations, churches, or doing, personal mentorship or corporate mentorship, I'm actually looking at how and in what ways can we have a higher quality of life as leaders. And so I'm actually doing a study right now with Pepperdine University. I'm one of the lead researchers, and we're really looking at quality of life for leaders and what that looks like, and how will we add that to the academic framework or the worldview of the world, while you're leading, and whether it's whatever setting you're in, or because you can even be leading in a family, in a home. It doesn't mean you're like the CEO, but you can be CEO of your own life.
Yeah.
But however that looks, what is your quality of life? And so I do love those types of documentaries that really deal with quality of life, because I'm always trying. I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer by trade. So I am always looking at, how do I re-engineer? What kind of information, I'm an information buff.
Yeah. I've always said that the only billion-dollar person watching Tyler Perry movies is Tyler Perry. Is that a true statement? Do you watch, would you binge or sit down and watch an hour and a half of just something Medea style, or are you, like I'm thinking, a little bit too refined?
No, I actually love Medea. Is she back? I think she's back. I love Medea. I'm very refined. So I will say this: I am refined because I show up in that way, but I'm also funny, and I'm also very, very loving, and I love my clients. I'm in love with my clients, and I, show up like that. I show up because God is love.
Yes. And you seem like such a loving person, a caring person, and a down to earth person, it's hard to imagine that you're able to not only sustain this high level of sophistication and professionalism, but also can have fun while doing it. And that's just to let people know, I've already got the fun part. I'm the fun guy already. If I could just get that billion-dollar mindset, I could tie it all together and be the next Dr. Sundra Ryce, or the first Dr. JeVaughn Martin, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into your education background in a moment and how you structured your educational development. But we have to have a fun, lighthearted segment. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions just to kind of loosen the mood a little bit until we get back into the heavy stuff. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
This is a little segment that we do on the show. It's just about getting to rapid fire questions, going to get to know a little bit more about you and about what you do and about how you do it. And the first question is going to come right after this. All right, here we go. Do you prefer radio or podcast?
Podcasting.
What is the worst question ever asked
to you? I don't know. I can't think. Okay, come back to that.
We're not going to talk about whoever asked the question. And if it was just 30 seconds ago, you could say it was JeVaughn.
It wasn't you, JeVaughn. It wasn't you, JeVaughn. It was, I think one of the worst questions I've had is when people are asking about, my personal life. That's the worst question sometimes, honestly.
I hear you.
It throws me off guard sometimes.
And we're not going to ask you that question because we already have 3 eligible bachelors waiting in the background that's going to come on the show in 30 seconds. But first, what's the least favorite song you've ever heard?
The least favorite song I've ever heard would be something, but I would say some country song. It's I'm not into country music. So the least favorite is when I hear country music. That's my least favorite.
Okay, so the guy in the cowboy hat, you can go ahead and leave. She's not interested.
Well, my dad is from Texas, so wait, guy in the cowboy hat.
Dallas, Austin, Houston, which part?
My dad is they're from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a little more country. And so all of my family is from Texas. So no, I have cowboys in my family. So those are my people too.
All right, cowboy guy, come on back. Tequila or bourbon?
Tequila.
Uber Eats or DoorDash?
DoorDash, because they don't support other political things.
There it is. Spades or dominoes?
Dominoes.
Dominoes. You say dominoes. Why dominoes? I just gotta ask.
Dominoes because it's a game that most people don't play. People don't play dominoes to me as much anymore. They play spades, but dominoes is another, thinking game. It takes a little bit longer, and it just helps get that mind going. like
Nice.
chess.
I'm bringing the bones the next time I come to Pepperdine.
Okay.
You prefer washing dishes or clothes?
Dishes.
Dishes. I'm a dishes person too.
Yeah.
Tick, tack, or toe. Pick one.
Tick.
That's what everybody picks. Tick. Grits, sugar, cheese, or both.
Cheese.
You right or well, I'm a both guy, but I won't hold it against you.
No
Word
sugar.
association: snap, crackle, or pop.
Pop.
If you were to be able to win anything, would it be a Grammy or an Oscar?
Oscar.
An Oscar. And the last question on the lightning round, of the things that you've heard in this 25 minutes of the conversation with JeVaughn so far, if you were to say there's one thing that I need to get him together about, what would that one thing be? Get me together.
I would say, JeVaughn, don't play small when it comes to you and who you are and what you are called to do in this earth and this life, because it's bigger than what you even think. And so I need you to get it together. I need you to get out there, because you already said you are a $1 billion entity. So let's go and do it. Let's be it. Let's build it. And I'll help you.
I feel got together. I feel got together. That is, you are brilliant.
Thank you.
We said we was going to get here, so I've got to ask. I played baseball growing up,
Okay.
and the one thing I wanted to do was go to Pepperdine University to play baseball, but I just never got good enough. How did you structure your educational journey?
Yeah, so went to undergrad and graduate school actually in Buffalo. So I got an undergrad in business studies, and then it was interesting because I wanted to go to graduate school to get a JD MBA. I wanted to become a lawyer because I'm a great negotiator and I could like sell you the shirt off your own back, give me a chance. But God spoke to me, and he was, and a door opened for me to go and get my master's in education. And it ended up that my concentration was curriculum and instruction. So I didn't know that, like 20 years later, that because I was in 2007, I didn't know that, all these years, almost 20 years later, I would be developing curriculum for universities, for organizations, for even my, my business and my enterprise. And so got that. Had the educational background. And then some years went by, I was running my companies, building my family, and paying attention to all of those things. But then I was called back, and I would say, I structured it, but really God put it on my heart to go back to school, to graduate school. And my mother has her PhD. My dad is in business, so I followed in both of their footsteps in some way. But I decided to go to graduate school, and there was a program at Pepperdine University in organizational leadership that caught my attention. And it meant that I would have to travel to LA. I was living in New York at the time, but I would travel to back and forth to LA for my program. And I did this for a few years. So I told them at Pepperdine, I got permission. I got on the quick plan, because I was like, I can't stay here, going back and forth too much. So I actually did what they call the my comprehensive examinations, and I also did my dissertation at the same time, like, because I was like, I love Pepperdine, but I need to get out of here. So right. I was able to do that. I was very strategic because, again, I was running a business. I have a family, and I wanted to, make sure that, again, quality of life was like really coming up for me. And this was before COVID. And so that was my journey, and finished at Pepperdine in a whopping 3 years. I was on a 3-year plan with my doctorate. And then I, really started on this track of, leadership development and organizational advisement. And those doors just opened up.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Do you know that I went to Illinois State University, not as prestigious as Pepperdine, but still costs a lot of money. And I did the 10-year program at ISU, where it took 10 years to get a 4-year degree. And the degree is in university studies.
Okay.
Okay. So I know that what I would tell 19-year-old JeVaughn is, hey, dude, don't take bowling, and don't take pool, and don't take piano when you know that your bass ain't it. Get your classes done and get out.
Yes,
Here's what I would tell 19-year-old JeVaughn. In
absolutely.
seconds, what would you tell, in retrospect, what would you tell 19-year-old Sundra Ryce?
I would tell 19-year-old Sundra Rice to actually believe in yourself. And I know that's like cliche, but again, I think, one of the enemies of who we are and our identity is, things come up against us to test our identity, to cause us to, question who we are, question what we are going to do in the world. And I would actually tell myself to trust myself, and not other voices, so that I can make sure that I stay on the path and that I protect, who I am, because as it stands, I'm going to be the most important part 20 years from now in this story. So I want to get to that part, and I want to be whole, and I want to be together, and I want to be healthy. And that's in all areas, that's spiritually, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. And so I would tell myself, trust Sundra, trust the gift that God has put in you, and trust the gift that you are to the world.
That is absolutely spectacular. You are a blessing to the
Thank you.
community. It is so great to talk to you. For those who want to get more information from you to be part of your program, what are some of the things that they can, whether it be purchased or rent or attend? What do you have coming up so that people can, as they say, get on your level?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we have registration is open for two of our programs right now. One is the Leadership Mastery, the Year of Mastery group coaching program. And it's an amazing cohort of leaders that come together once a month. I do all of the teaching. It is inspiring. It is amazing to be around that community of practice. And that registration is open, and you can register there at www.drsundra, Sundra.com. And we have another program coming up at Pepperdine, and that's the leadership, organizational leadership and wellness effectiveness program that I lead. It's a 2-day program in LA, so it's fun. Amazing group of leaders every year. This will be our 4th cohort. And it's life changing. Every time I teach it, every time I'm there for those 2 days, it's life changing. And you also do receive a certificate. So you should come, JeVaughn, because you'll have a certificate. You'll have your degree from Pepperdine. You will be a Pepperdine alum after that 2 days. And so that's April 24th and April 25th. And that's going to be in Los Angeles, California at Pepperdine University. And again, you can register. Registration is open now. And please, everyone, if you're thinking about either of those two programs, especially the Pepperdine, it is filling up. So we want you to get in before it's sold out. So that is www.drsundra.com. And you can actually see information about me, my bio, and you can find out all about those programs and join us there. I would love to see you there, and our team would love to see you there.
I got to get there. When I come, will they allow me on the baseball field, even if it's?
I may have to get you there. I may have to pull some strings. How about that?
You got me.
That's all. That's because that could be it. That could just be what you need.
That's all I need. That's all I need to go back to 19-year-old JeVaughn, who is a little bit less athletic than he wants to be, but has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. This has been a very rewarding conversation. I know that our viewers and our listeners are taking notes and going to be attending this conference. I need everyone. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, please go ahead and register for this amazing opportunity. I'm going to come. I have to come now, especially if there's a VIP section, because I love being in VIP. So, give me a place where I can be roped off from all the minions. And no, but seriously, it sounds like an amazing opportunity. I can't wait. Dr.
I'm excited.
Sundra,
love to have you.
You have the final word. What should people know that we haven't covered? What is the question that the JeVaughn Show was supposed to ask and didn't? What would you like to tell the people before we go?
Well, one of the things that is really important for me, and when I go in to help, and because I am a servant leader, I'm really coming to serve. I laugh and I joke, but my assignments are very serious, and I'm coming to serve so that we can make the world a better place. And one of the parts of my genius that I don't play small with is that I'm not invisible, and also that I can help leaders, corporations, organizations solve their problems in 20 minutes. That is a part of my genius. I help people re-engineer incredible and engineer the incredible. And that's dealing with the purpose of their organizations and who they are and being effective. And so I would say, I would end this with my favorite motivational quote, probably over 25 years, is, what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail?
For me, it would be interview again, Dr. Sundra Ryce.
I'm here.
That's what I would do.
We're connected.
We are. We are. This has been an amazing opportunity. My team just does the best with interviews, and this may be the best of 2026. You have really filled my heart. I appreciate you and this so much. I hope you all are taking notes. I hope you all listen. I hope you all play the interview back again and get some nugget that you might have missed, because this right here, this woman is going to change your life. She has the potential to make you $1 billion mindset. So make sure you all attend the conference, attend the opportunities, read the books, do what you need to do to grow and to get great, because it's here. It's there for you. No more small mindset. Let's go.
Let's go.
Dr. Sundra Ryce, thank you for coming on the JeVaughn Show.
Thank you, JeVaughn. I loved being here.
Thank you
so much.
To our executive producer, Dr. Mark Keys, and to all of you all, Dr. Holmes, and to everyone listening and participating. Thank you all for taking. I forgot my own outro. I'm so excited. I'm literally about to get off and go to your website and see what I can do to get to LA. So, y'all, come with me. Let's go right now. Get up, hit stop, and go to the website right now. www.drsandra.com. I got it right?
Yes. Perfect.
Let's go right now. Thank you, Dr. Sundra Ryce.
You're welcome.
And that's our right at 30. Yep, 30. 35. Yep. Perfect. You've been amazing.
Thank you. I enjoyed you.
This has been great. I ended the stream. Yep. And we're gonna edit it down, and then we repost in about 18 hours. So, okay. And then we're going to add in all of your stuff in there as well, like with the flyers and the banners and all that good stuff, and the website at the bottom on the lower third. So it's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I can't wait to see you in LA, to meet you and hug you.
I'm coming, and I'm getting my $1 billion.
That's right. That's right. That's what I need you to do. Okay. Yeah. I'm here. I'm here for it, for you.
I'm here. I cannot wait. Okay. Have an amazing day, Dr. Ryce.
You too. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's like a fork in the road. Lord, I ask that you bring clarity and peace into their lives, into their homes, into their mind. Peace that goes beyond understanding, and love and light. Lord, let them be the example that others need to see. Let it pass on, because that's what we're doing. No man is an island, Lord. So I'm asking that you really strengthen us so we can strengthen the next person. We give you all the glory and all the honor and all the praise. I love Jesus, so I'm going to say in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.